Hello all you beautiful people out there, what is going on? This is your friend BritikHD coming just fast with another Predecessor video, and today we are talking about the closed stress test weekend. That was actually a success this time, hallelujah, and what a success it was. We're going to talk about it briefly, and then we're going to talk about the pros and cons that I took away from this weekend. So if you guys do enjoy this video, please consider dropping a like, that'll help me out a ton, and let's get right into the video. So right off the bat, I just want to say that this weekend was absolutely insane. Thank you so much for everyone tuning into the Twitch stream, which you guys are seeing a clip from as we are talking about the game. Some pretty big names turned out to play Predecessor this weekend, including Lyric, which some of you might know as one of the OGs of Twitch. He's been streaming for a really long time. He always pulls in tens of thousands of viewers every single stream, and he had about 15,000 people watching him play Predecessor this weekend. Some other big names including CDN the Third, who also had a couple thousand people watching his stream this weekend, brought a lot of eyes to Predecessor, and it can only go without saying, but we're gonna say it as well, that Predecessor has a lot of momentum behind it after this weekend. We're gonna see how they capitalize off of it. Some teases from Nabori and from Ace saying that early access might be released later this year, holiday 2022 on Steam, which is something to definitely look forward to. Will we get another closed weekend like we did this time around? Until then, we will just have to wait and see. But it was absolutely incredible. You had so many different people coming in to play the game, including some really cool people that I never thought I'd be able to play with, such as Dalton Schultz, tight end for the Dallas Cowboys. We had a lot of fun jumping around in our Galaxy Greaves over the weekend.
Boy, what are you doing, Gadget? No!
All right. Okay, ready on three. One.
Wait. Okay, I'm ready.
One, two, three. Woo! And that is where the first pro comes in. It was fun. That is probably the most important thing. It was fun. I haven't had this much fun playing any of these projects, including Fault, including Overprime, including Predecessor. I haven't had this much fun since the initial release of Fault and the initial first weekend of Predecessor, after we have been waiting for so long. I mean, this has been so much fun. I streamed for 16 hours the very first day, then 12 hours the second day, then 9 hours the third day, just because I was so brutally exhausted from having a full work week prior as well. But man, oh man, if I was a little bit younger and if I slammed a few more monsters, I'd probably go 24 hours, because that was just dummy thick fun. The games were fluid. They were fast. There was a lot of stuff that worked surprisingly, such as Machine Gun Howitzer, as you guys are seeing here, where I built attack speed and crit chance, and it just worked. It was so much fun. There was no internal MMR, so you could go up against absolutely new people, or you could go up against a stack of some really good players, which both happened to me at the same time, really. You know, one game you'd go in and you'd stomp as a solo queuer, and then the next game while solo queuing you'd run into a 4-stack, and then you would stack with your friends. And you know, it was just really great to see so many different people from all over playing the game and having fun regardless of their skill level. Now, in terms of tutorials and all that kind of stuff, that's obviously going to come with the full game coming out, which a lot of people understand, a lot of people realize this, but I just wanted to make that note that this game is still in closed beta. It's still not even in early access technically, so you're not going to have these quality of life features like a tutorial in the game yet. You're not going to have a ranked mode in the game yet, although these are things that should be prioritized in my opinion. You're not going to have that here yet, so if that case, we are going to judge it by what it does have when it comes to the pros and the cons. As for pros, the team fights were a lot of fun, and the game was very stable. It was very well optimized. There were some bugs where, you know, you'd have some VFX issues due to certain items making you drop frames, but for the most part, it was a really good time and really stable for the state that it was in, which was very impressive to see. And so what I wanted to kind of bring over to the con side now is, even though it was really stable and it was really fun, there could still be some improvement in the core gameplay of it. And where I want to start is with the feedback. Now, over the weekend, I got a lot of questions about, does Predecessor feel like Paragon? Is it like Paragon? And my answer was that it's close. Very close. It's almost there. It's close to how Paragon was when it released its Founders Packs. The thing that's missing here, for me personally, the biggest one, most likely, is the feedback, okay? You have a lot of stuff in the game that's really nice. You have a lot of good audio design. There's some audio design that I think can be improved, in my opinion, such as Grux's auto attacks, for example. That's just my personal preference. And there's some amazing audio design, like Richter's chains just rattling around while he's just walking. You know, some of the footsteps sounded amazing, and some of the other things in the game didn't sound amazing. And to me, audio is a really big part of the game when it comes to the feedback, which is why I made note of it here. But the feedback itself on the HUD, when I would take a lot of damage, yes, you know, there would be a little red flicker here and there, but when I was really, really low on health, there would be absolutely no difference between me being low on health and me not being low on health. There was nothing on the screen that was shouting in my face, "Hey, idiot, you're about to die. Get out of this fight." It just wasn't really there, and I feel like this could be improved upon. You know, in Paragon, you had the screen basically flashing red. You had a big heartbeat sound in the background. It's really, really loud and telling you, "Hey, man, you're about to die. Be careful." You know, all this kind of stuff that could just really, really help you in the heat of the moment when you're not looking down at the bottom at your health bar and you're really trying to aim at your opponent. You're not really looking anywhere else on the screen. So I really think that the feedback can be improved, in my opinion. How are they going to do it? If they're going to do it the same way Paragon did it, or if they have a different way that they come up with, that's up to them. But feedback is very, very important, and adding that oomph to some things that still need to have that oomph added is definitely priority number one, in my opinion, to making this game feel more complete at its core. Now, you know, there are some things that are still clunky. Once again, I'm going to bring up Grux here because I did play him quite a bit over the weekend, and I absolutely love Grux, and I think he's really strong, and I love his ultimate, which is absolutely broken. But stuff like his dash still felt a little clunky, a little locked in place, per se. When you were in the middle of the dash, the uppercut, yeah, I barely could move my camera. And I don't know if this was on my part malfunction or if this was just actually how it's built. But, you know, Grux's animation made you kind of lock in place while you were doing that. You weren't able to move your camera. And there are some other things like that where they haven't really quite separated the movement from the looking. In my opinion, stuff like that makes it feel a little more locked and a little less free-flowing, which is really what made Paragon so amazing, is that everything was so free-flowing. You had that free Y access. When things are more locked, you get more of a smite result, where it seems like you might be able to do something, but you can't because you're locked in this one Y, you know, axis or X axis position. Just little things like that they could definitely improve on as well to make the game feel a little more fluid. And two things that were really, really concerning to me from a gameplay perspective, not necessarily just the game itself at the core, but just how they decided to go. And this is all subject to change, of course. But I want to start off with the jungle, okay? The jungle camps, you couldn't really kite them. There wasn't really much challenge as a jungler. You guys know I'm a jungle main. I love living in the jungle. I play everybody I can in the jungle. I even played Narbash jungle over the weekend, which somehow worked, funny enough. But you just can't kite the camps. They run around right up on you every single swing. You can't peel away from them. And when you do, the radius of them de-aggroing from you and going back to their camp and regaining all their health is super, super small. So range characters cannot jungle whatsoever. And even melee characters who start kiting too much away from the camp are going to lose aggro very quickly, and the camps are going to run back and get their health back. And I think this takes away from the challenge of a jungler, and just being able to kite the minions and being able to leash the minions, being able to kind of take them out of their camp a little more would really improve the jungling experience, and it will increase the skill level required to jungle very, very efficiently compared to others. Because right now it's very straightforward. You just stand in place, kill the camps, cleave them with the red buff DOT, move on. You don't worry about kiting, you don't worry about leashing, because none of it matters anyway. It's all going to lead to the same results. So honestly, I really want to see some jungle improvements to make the jungle a little more immersive in that sense, and not so that I can just look at my phone while jungling with my right hand, just holding down the left mouse button. And so the last thing that I want to kind of throw out there as a con that I feel like could definitely be improved is the backpedaling penalty. There was zero backpedaling backpedaling penalty, which made carries especially feel super strong. You could walk backwards just as fast as you could walk forwards, which was not the case in Paragon. In Paragon, if you walked backwards, you moved slower. So it was not possible for a carry to walk backwards and shoot the person running at them at the same time. If you had to get out of there, you turned to 180 and you ran for the hills. You did not backpedal while trying to deal damage at the same time. You had one option. You had to run away, full 180 and run away. Okay, here you can do both at the same time. You can run away while still doing damage, which I don't like. I think that takes away from the decision making, and that makes it way too easy for range characters to just absolutely box and kite around melee characters. And I really hope that they bring backpedaling penalty back into the game, because I think that's going to be a really big balancing point. Range characters felt really strong because of this, especially carries. Now, there was a basic attack penalty, which I didn't mind. I think it was pretty good. You know, after 1 or 2 basic attacks, you were kind of out of range as a melee character, which I think was fine, considering a lot of melee characters have a lot of CC, and that is kind of the point of them trying to get on top of the enemy carry or whoever they were ganking or whoever they were fighting in the team fight. I really think there should be a backpedaling penalty, and that is probably, in fact, ahead of my jungle critique and only behind my feedback critique, because I think it's super important. I think it completely changes the game, and I really just can't imagine a third-person MOBA without a backpedal penalty where things aren't just absolutely broken. I think it's going to lead to a whole lot of balance issues later on if backpedal penalty is not implemented right away into the game as soon as possible. Again, that's from my perspective. That's from playing MOBAs for a really long time. That's just the way I see it. Maybe they took a look at it. Maybe their pro team, their you know, Q&A team, their testers took a look at it. They said, you know what, this works. We're gonna leave the lack of backpedal penalty in there and just see where it goes. I really hope that they at least try it out. Maybe if they have another stress test weekend, that they throw it in and see what happens. I really hope they at least do that. But yeah, anyway, I'm beating a dead horse here, guys. There we have it, the pros and cons of Predecessor. Overall, it's a phenomenal product at its current state and time. It is not finished. It is going to be looking like in late 2022 early access is what they've been kind of striving towards lately, from word of mouth, from Nabori himself, from RGSA's himself. So we are going to take a look and see if they're able to hit that goal. It's absolutely fun. It's absolutely fluid. I had a blast. I came home today after work and I wanted to load it up and play some more, but got really sad when I couldn't. And I really cannot wait to see where this goes. I'm genuinely excited now. Like, they finally put something in front of our faces, and I think the clock is really now ticking on their side to deliver at the end of the year. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like I said, if you did, please consider hitting the like button. Also, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you guys never miss a beat. If you guys have stayed this long into the video, I just want to let you know something really cool I'm doing on stream now. Every Friday at 6 p.m. Pacific time, that's Los Angeles, West Coast, US time, 6 p.m. I'm hosting a little podcast thing where I kind of shoot the shit with my friends, with some buddies in the community, with some really cool people in the community as well. We're getting some guests on board that are going to be really cool. So tune into that on Fridays. And we might even do a special one in the middle of the week coming up next week. So stay tuned for that. Follow me on Twitter. I'm going to post the announcement there. Make sure you guys follow me on Twitter at BritikHD. You guys already know the drill. Follow me everywhere. You guys, yada. You guys are probably already doing it. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and as always, make sure you have a wonderful day. Peace.